Hey, you. You're tuned in to the Skirts Up Show with Samantha and Melissa.
Join our mission to normalize failure, but still uncover the positives at every twist and turn.
Skirts up, but keep your panties on. What's up, Skirts Up Squad? It's Samantha
And Melissa.
and we are back with our first On the Porch / Lottie. Yay. For the first time this season.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Lottie is our girl. She's our logo. And you guys did help name her.
Actually, did you guys love that intro? Was that not the coolest thing ever? Because it gets stuck in our head all the time.
Lottie Don't Lie.
Like, I don't even know if it's that part. It's like the,
If you've got a problem,
Lottie's got the answer.
she don't sugarcoat it.
Because it's Lottie.
And Lottie Don't Lie.
It's just really fun. It's like a little jingle.
Okay, so now I'm going to say Sam wrote that. It's so fun.
Do we want to admit that?
I mean, okay, granted, we did find the music on a website, but Sam wrote the lyrics, and I think they're adorable.
Thanks. That's so kind.
Yeah.
My best friend, she was like, okay, now you need to sell that shit. I would buy it. And I was like,
She's not wrong. I would love that as a ringtone. That'd be so cute.
oh my. It was a whole thing. But anyways, we
Okay.
are here. We are going to do a brief little on the porch, and then Lottie's going to slide on in.
Yes, she is. She has thoughts and opinions. They must be shared.
So by this time, you probably noticed that we have released 3 episodes. We broke up our trip in Asheville. We have our 30-minute episode where we had a psychic reading, 30 minutes of a mediumship reading, and then our interview with Kelly.
Yeah. So this was one of my most favorite adventures that we've been on so far, actually, Sam. Not just the fact that we got to go up to Asheville together, because that was just a dream. Like, it was just so fun getting to be with one of my best people and just relax in a different place. But getting to meet Kelly Palmatier was amazing. She's so down to earth. She's so kind. She's so funny. She's like such a jokester. Oh, I brought out a charcuterie board. And she was so sweet and didn't even tell me till way later that she's vegan. And of course she's vegan for ethical reasons, because she's just that kind of a good, awesome person. But yeah, she's just cool.
It was so funny. I have since told her that we are now best friends and that she's our new best friend, and that's just is what it is. New bestie. But it was I just couldn't stop staring at her, and I was like, I'm sorry. You're just so pretty.
Oh, yeah, you did say that.
I think a zillion times. And then when we went to the restaurant, we walk in the door and immediately the hostess goes, "You are so beautiful."
She did? I didn't hear
I
that.
just looked at her husband. I was like, are you used to this?
That is hilarious. Oh, I do kind of remember that. That is so funny.
Yeah, she's just mesmerizing. Her energy is just infectious.
Yeah. So basically what happened is she came to the hotel. She sat in our little suite with us. We did our recordings, and then we all went out to dinner. And it was honestly just a night.
Just talked her ear off. I want to do it again.
Yeah.
In fact, if you caught our live show, you'll know that you will also have a chance to meet her in December.
Yeah. So, okay. So you obviously know she's a psychic.
And a medium.
Sam, what did you expect when we went in there?
Oh my God. I honestly could have been way more prepared. I mean, I always over prepare, so maybe that's not the truth, but I did not know what to expect. And when I listened back to those, I actually was laughing hysterically at myself, because I was like, it's like she told me, about my energy and, my tarot cards. And I'm just I didn't have time to process. And so then I'm just like, okay. And she's like, do you have any questions? And I'm like,
That's not how my mind works.
I'm good. I didn't know what to say. But in hindsight, now that I have had time to re-listen and think about it, it was really cool, because one, she had read during the energy reading, she had said that she's picking up that I have a lot of knowledge that was self-taught. And yeah, I say all the time that I think you don't have to go to college to be successful, and that you can teach yourself everything that you need to know. And how to shoot for the stars.
Grow as a person.
Yeah. I just don't personally
paying tuition.
Yeah. I don't think you need to put yourself in debt. I personally think you have opportunities. Everyone can get an opportunity to learn on their own. And then she had said that she picks up that I'm very sensitive and that I feel things deeply and that I too have some intuitive touch. And since then, I have bought my own tarot card deck. I am teaching myself how to do it. And the times that I have done it, it's been pretty accurate. And like, that's been really exciting. I've loved that.
I feel like all of our episodes last season were leading up to you kind of like getting in touch with your inner intuition and your inner self, right? And I felt like her telling you that was like almost in a sense just you getting the permission that you needed to run with it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say that is the particular part that like just was home run, like drilled it in. It was actually during the interview when we were talking and I was like, I'm sorry, I just need to ask, when you say that you're praying, who and what are you praying to when you sit here and talk to spirits? And she goes, I don't need to know who I'm praying to. I can pray to everything and nothing at all and know that I'm just sending out all the positivity into the world. And I was like, fuck.
That was huge for you.
It was so big. I was like, okay, because I'm always really uncomfortable when people are like, oh, I'll pray for you. And I'm like, please don't.
I actually try to remind myself that when somebody comes to me and says, I'll pray for you, because obviously you guys know my history. I'm a little bit anti-religious, but when someone comes to me and says that, I know it's coming from a good place. I really do. And so then I can stop and think like, and that's the conversation we did have that day with Kelly. Where's this coming from? What's the intention behind it? And you know what? I'm going to take all the good vibes that I can. And so, yeah, I liked that.
Yeah. I also loved that all of my tarot cards, they reflected the podcast. And honestly, I kind of think that it might have been the beginning of telling me what my next steps are. And Melissa and I have talked a little bit about it, and I'll share that with y'all later.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some really big things that we're so excited about. But it was interesting. So when I went up there, I honestly did not know what to expect. I did have a test in mind.
She did. Yes, she did. It was planned.
I straight up I didn't say it to Sam because I didn't tell you beforehand because I didn't want you to accidentally give it away to her. But I told you, I told you later that night, didn't I?
Are you talking about the dog?
Yes.
No, you told me that while we were driving. And so I knew the test.
I did?
Yeah.
Shoot. I was supposed to try to keep that to myself, but apparently I'm not that good at that.
You told me, you didn't tell her.
No, that's true. I did not. So my test was because she's also a medium. So she picks up on like past relatives or ancestors or maybe like somebody that's passed on that you loved. And I was just like, who is there that I need and want to talk to? There is nobody.
Like that. We said, look, who's going to talk to us? Like,
yeah.
No one cares about us.
No, and honestly, do I care? I loved my grandpa. Yes, great. But I was not super close. It was just, yeah. So my test was this year, I had to put down my very, very, very best friend, a dog.
Thank you for clarifying.
But she was everything to me. She was like my child. And her name was Waverly. And I thought, if Waverly comes to me during this, then I might believe she's got something going on.
Because we didn't even know if she can talk to animals.
We didn't.
So that was kind of the other test. Telling her.
That's right. Because you were like, maybe you I did tell you. Mm-hmm. Sam was like, maybe you should tell her because we should ask her, can you talk to animals? And I said, no, we're not even going to give her a clue.
Mm-hmm. The test will be, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah. And it actually did.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of moments in the medium reading that made me feel goosebumps, feel just like truth and good things. I think Sam definitely cried a few times.
I did. You guys probably heard by now that trigger warning. Both of us have had some miscarriages, and I did not expect at all to have that brought up. So yeah, there were some tears.
There were.
But that's not what made you cry.
I cried because Waverly did want to come and just let
that
me
was
know
actually super cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And it was interesting too because one of the things that she said about that was, she said, okay, I say she is in Kelly. Kelly was intuiting that Waverly was around us, and Waverly wanted me to know that
the place
the
is
place
as
is
beautiful.
as I had described. And at first, so for a second, Kelly stopped and said, "I think she's saying like heaven is what you said it would be." I was like, "Well, I definitely never said anything about heaven because I don't necessarily believe in it. I think I just don't know." But I did have a conversation with Waverly, and I did tell her that I thought she would become part of the earth and one with everything, and become like one with energy around, and she could give good things back to the world still. And it was just, I bawled. I bawled
Yeah.
when Waverly came to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what I did want to say though is one of the things about, so that was the mediumship. That was just impactful as hell. But the reading, I was kind of going in thinking like, oh, she's going to tell us a future, right? But then Sam's was like, no, she does not talk to people about the future unless she feels like it's in their better judgment and she really needs to.
She doesn't share messages that won't serve the better good. So, and she says she's not a fortune teller.
Yeah.
If I remember that correctly.
Exactly.
But she told us to really think and hone in on aspects of our life that we need some clarity on, and that's what we each did. And yours was geared towards your decisions with the shop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is that all of your cards like led you to progress in all the ways you kept like pushing off and saying that you can't do when you could do it. So like now you have your new car, you have your big fancy shop, and it's like I think that had something to do with it.
That's true because I did, well, maybe not the reading didn't, I wouldn't say the reading had anything to do with it, but I think that it did. Well, maybe it did. Because there is a sense, there's an element of when someone's telling you, hey, you can do this. And if you really believe them, which I did, I believed her that day, then of course there's going to be some self-fulfilling prophecy going on where you're going to start like working to make those things happen. And yeah, so here we are now. Like I needed a bigger space for my shop. I was really worried about taking on too many things because my customers, I want to please everybody. And she's like, you're never going to please everybody. And that's okay. But you just need to think about you and the health of the business. And I did that. And so now we have a new space. I was very worried about going to Flowery Branch for my new space because it's a little bit further than Suwannee area where we are now. I can't tell you. I would say 80% of the customers that come into my shop have said, that's going to be closer to me. And so that was just, anyway, it's just amazing. Just kind of watching things fold.
Like we said, Kelly is amazing. And you can get a reading for yourself virtually. Just go to her website. I'll tag her in here again.
You guys can meet Kelly. Come to our event in December. She's working with us in some charities in December. And she will be doing free readings for people in the crowd. It's going to be a really special night for the Five Hive and foster children.
Yeah, it'll be really fun. This episode, along with all the other episodes with Kelly Palmatier, were obviously recorded in the middle of the year. It was like early summer. So this is before the hurricane has devastated everything. The hurricane didn't only devastate Asheville, North Carolina, but many of the West counties and cities, including Georgia. I mean, we're talking Augusta and all the counties down along that line. Atlanta has never been hit by a hurricane before. Like this is wild. It feels like we just keep getting hit by one thing after another over here. Like we have. We're all hurt from that school shooting. We're all hurting from the hurricane. We're now all running from a biochem explosion. What's next? But I don't want to take away from those who have actually had everything stripped away from them due to this hurricane. Our hearts are with everyone. Kelly and her family were also affected. Fortunately, they were able to evacuate. It's really devastating, the damage that has happened to all these beautiful towns. And we are going to link reputable sources of ways that you can donate your time or donate money or resources so that we can help everyone get back on their feet, because that's what we're all about. We want our communities to all come together and help bring everyone back to a better place.
All right.
Are we getting into Lottie?
I think we're getting into Lottie.
Let me paint the picture of our trip to the Windsor Boutique Hotel in Asheville, North Carolina. It's dark, it's storming, we're lost, no clue where we're going, but all of a sudden, the beautiful building is right in front of us. Stop that. We're greeted by a gentleman. He comes outside with us, gets all of our bags, brings them in all the way upstairs. It was fantastic.
Each suite has its own unique vibe. They were able to strike a perfect balance between luxury, but still keeping it cozy and homey. But what I loved most about the Windsor Boutique Hotel, as a small business owner myself, I loved that they locally source everything in the room. Chocolates, coffee, soaps, all from local businesses in Asheville.
And don't forget to say hi to Penny.
The dog?
Yes, the dog.
So the next time that you're in Asheville, definitely book your stay at the Windsor Boutique Hotel.
Mention Skirts Up, and they will take care of you like they did us, just like family.
Skirts Up.
So let me paraphrase.
Lottie's like, cut to the chase.
What I have. Now, at the live event when we were at the brewery, we did read 2 scenarios, and the crowd did choose which one they wanted to discuss live. So if you missed that, go back and find our live stream and watch that one, but we're going to talk about the other.
Yes, we are.
Right now, I am looking at an email that we got that says, I need some advice. She is 23 years old. She has been living on her own since she was 20. And when she moved out of her family home, she had gotten a puppy, I'm assuming, because she says that when she got this puppy, she was told that it was a black lab, but says that clearly now it's a shepherd. She said that her life hasn't progressed in the last 3 years as it should have, and she's been really depressed about it. So she has made the decision to move to a whole different state where she knows no one and start over. She's currently in a extended stay and looking for a place to live, and she's quickly learning that the breed of her dog, so a shepherd, is not accepted in most places that she's looking at to rent. And so she's starting to think that it is time to get rid of the dog to take one stressful situation off of her plate. Says the dog is 3 years old and that it shouldn't be hard to find it a home. I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. So what did Lottie tell you the other day when you were talking to her?
I, too, got a dog, my first dog, when I was 20 years old.
And wait, I, too? Lottie is you. Lottie is me. Lottie is everyone. That's our new catchphrase for her.
So I, too, had gotten my shepherd, Ada, when I was about 20 years old, living on my own. And she is a German shepherd. And I've moved several times as like a young person and trying to figure out how to live on my own. And it's been a lot of bouncing. I've rented all the things. She has come with me to every home. Now I am settled in my own place with my husband, and we got it good now. She's got a really good home. But I can understand the struggle of not knowing, should I get rid of her or keep her when I can't find a place to live? And honestly, I think that you would significantly regret getting rid of your dog, because that's going to be your one and only consistency throughout your whole journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to point out that if you were told that she's a lab, that is probably what is on the paperwork, and that is what you likely have told any vets you visited, which means in her vet records, it'll be stated as a lab mix.
They do that for a reason, people.
They do. And I know this because, as you know, I have worked in animal hospitals for a very long time.
Yeah.
So use that. This is not what the hospital says. She is a lab.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really hard to get dogs adopted that are certain breeds. I myself have a pit bull. And when you adopt a dog from the shelter, there's a reason why every fucking dog says on their paperwork that they're a lab. even when they're clearly not. And it's because they're trying to help you so that you can get your dog into a safe place.
Do you know that, or is that opinion?
I know that. I used to foster dogs actually, for a shelter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So like it's an actual thing. Like they're like, look, we're not gonna already slate this dog for a lifetime of difficulties by saying, hey, this is one of the breeds that's hard to get adopted out.
Rottweiler, Doberman, Shepherd.
Exactly. So it's like they're already trying to make it easier for you by saying that it's a lab. So let's like take advantage of that. So Lottie thinks that she also said to me the same thing as you, where it was like, look, that's the one thing you're gonna have to keep you consistent and happy. Like that is, you're gonna take that dog with you across the country and it's gonna be your lifeline for a while. And why don't you be its lifeline too? I mean, it is traumatic, just like it is for children, for a dog to have to move from home to home to home. You wouldn't want to do that to a foster child. You don't want to do that to a dog. Now, Lottie knows not every situation is the same. Not everyone is equipped to be able to take on a dog with maybe so much energy or to deal with all of the things that could come up by having certain breeds. That being said, really do your research before just getting a dog. Adopt a dog for the dog, not for yourself.
Yeah, the dog didn't ask to be taken.
Nope. Not at all. Just like kids don't ask to be born, dogs don't ask for it either. And it's up to us. Like it's our responsibility to give them everything that they deserve.
Yeah. So Lottie's consensus is keep the dog, find a way to make a home for the both of you so that you have your forever best friend.
Yep, exactly. And that forever best friend is going to take care of you more than you ever can even imagine.
I try to look at all of these situations as like an objective and like at all the sides, but I really, I don't see, I have a hard time seeing what it would be like to give the pet away.
So I understand, like maybe she wasn't up for all of the energy that it has. And if she really can't give that to the dog, then maybe it is time to find another home for it. But if she still can, she really should, because that dog is going to give everything it can to her as long as it's getting everything it needs from her first. So like dogs only really act out if they're not having all their needs met.
I don't even... there's so many people that post like, oh, I'm rehoming my dog because I don't have time for all of its energy. And I think that's a load of shit too, because if you get a puppy, you know what you're getting.
See, that's where I think people oftentimes are very selfish and they're adopting a dog because they want it, because they want the cuddles, but they are not willing to like give it what it needs. And I think that's where you kind of need to decide in the beginning, like, what are my motives for actually wanting to take this little puppy into my life?
That is true, because
Right.
I did have I didn't just willy-nilly be like, oh, I need a dog.
Yeah.
When I got Ada, it was because I was not sleeping like ever, because I was too afraid, like living on my own, that like I couldn't sleep. And so my doctor was like, you're gonna need to get a dog or something to find a way to find peace so that you can sleep, or you're just gonna be very sick all the time. And I was like, oh, that's true. If I could find a way to feel safe that I can afford because I'm broke, then maybe there's some truth to that. And I found her and have forever been safe.
Yeah. So it's like, I feel like you also went into it not just adopting her for yourself, but I think you probably thought about it a lot, like knowing you. Like,
we're talking about younger me.
Well, I'm impressed then that you were able to stick with it, because I do think a lot of people don't put enough thought into it in the first place.
Sure. Yeah. But like even my husband, he got his little Shepherd Lab mix as a 19-year-old living out on his own, and he had that dog its whole life.
Yep. That was my Waverly. I love her so much.
So,
yeah, Lottie says, do the right thing. Put your big girl panties on. Get your lab in the apartment or the house where you're going to be, and start bonding with it and your new town together.
next. That was your first taste of Lottie and our coming back to the On the Porch. What did you think?
Let us know. Also, Lottie is, as you know, very opinionated. She's dying to help anyone and everyone that she can.
She will call you an asshole. If you
She
are,
might.
in
So
fact.
she might not be that helpful. But she'll be there for entertainment at
Honest.
least. And always honest.
Always.
Always. Lottie, don't lie. So write in with your questions. If you have something that you're thinking, wait a minute, am I seeing this clearly? Because sometimes you need that third person to bounce something off of.
Yes. And Lottie strives to see the point of view from all sides.
She does. So write us in, write Lottie, and
Let's see if you get aired.
if you liked what you heard today, hit that like button or the subscribe button or whatever button it is that you have.
Just hit it. To continue this conversation with us, join the Skirts Up Show on what is it again?
Well, we have Facebook, we have YouTube,
And Pinterest.
and no, we do not have a Pinterest, but we have Instagram.
You knew what I meant. Rate and review. Rate and review.